to the words the Creator had spoken to her, and she realized that the greatest miracle of all was not the abundance that had come to her people, but the deepening of her faith, the transformation of her heart. And as she sat there, the winds carrying the whispers of the ancestors, she knew that the Creator's love and protection would always be with her. The time for her blessings had come, and with it, a new beginning. She had trusted, and now the miracles were unfolding, not just in her life, but in the lives of all those around her. The Creator's promises were true. The miracles had come, and they would continue to flow, as long as she held fast to her faith, her trust, and her belief in the power of the Creator's love. In the heart of the great wilderness, beneath the vast skies that stretched beyond the horizon, a lone soul wandered, weary from the trials of the world. The winds whispered through the trees, carrying with them the scent of the earth and the promise of something greater. The people of the land knew that the Creator walked among them, His presence felt in every rustling leaf, every mountain that stood tall against the sky, and every river that carved its path through the land. One such soul, burdened with sorrow and confusion, sat beside a gentle stream, its waters clear and full of life. The struggle of the heart weighed heavily upon them, the battles of the mind and spirit seemingly too great to overcome. The storms of fear and doubt raged inside, and the heart felt as though it could bear no more. Yet, in the silence of the moment, a voice, soft yet powerful, reached out like the distant call of an eagle soaring high above. "My child," the voice said, gentle as the breeze that kissed the earth, "do you not know that I am here with you? I walk beside you through the darkness and the storm. There is no need for fear, for I carry you in my arms. Let go of the burdens that weigh you down, for they are not meant for you to carry alone." The words flowed like the river, soothing the restless heart. It was in this quiet moment, this sacred stillness, that the soul felt a presence, an unseen embrace, wrapping around them like the arms of a loving elder. The Creator, in His boundless love, was not distant or removed. He was near, closer than the beating of the heart, more present than the very breath they took. "Rest, my child," the voice continued. "You are not alone. Your prayers are heard, and I am with you in every step you take. The trials that have burdened you will not last forever. Just as the winter's cold gives way to the warmth of spring, so too will your trials fade. In the quiet of your soul, know that I am your strength, your protector, and your guide." The soul, overwhelmed by the truth of these words, sat in stillness, feeling the weight of the world lift from their shoulders. The winds began to carry a new song, one of hope and renewal, and the heart that had once felt like stone now softened, allowing the light of the Creator's love to shine through. "Cast aside your worries," the Creator's voice urged, "for I have seen your struggles, your tears, and I know your heart. I have placed within you the strength to overcome, to rise above the trials that seek to hold you down. Trust in me, for I will not abandon you. Even in the darkest of times, my love surrounds you like the night sky, vast and unchanging." As the soul stood and looked around, the world seemed different. The trees swayed in harmony with the winds, the mountains stood strong, and the rivers flowed with purpose. They felt a deep connection to the land, to the Creator who made it all, and to the people who had walked this path before them. With a heart renewed and a spirit lifted, they took a step forward, knowing that they were not alone. The Creator walked beside them, His presence a constant reminder that love and peace would always find a way, no matter how difficult the journey. And so they continued, not with fear, but with faith. Faith that the trials would fade, faith that the Creator's promises would be fulfilled. The winds whispered once more, this time with a message of hope, reminding them that no matter how heavy the burden, they would never be alone. The Creator was with them, always and forever, guiding them toward a future filled with love, peace, and the warmth of the sun rising on a new day. In the vast expanse of the wilderness where the mountains touch the heavens and the rivers sing their songs to the earth, a young warrior sat by a flickering fire, the flames dancing as if they too shared the weight of his heart. The smoke rose in quiet spirals toward the sky, carrying with it his silent prayers, each one heavy with the burden of his struggles. He had traveled far, crossed great distances in both the spirit and the body, and yet his heart was weary. The trials of life had worn him down, and he could not see the path ahead through the fog of uncertainty. As the fire crackled, an old elder appeared, his face weathered by time, but his eyes clear and filled with the wisdom of the ages. The elder sat beside the young warrior, his presence calm and powerful, like the steady river that flows through the land, no matter the obstacles in its way. "My child," the elder spoke, his voice low but steady, "do you know the way of the earth, the way of the wind that carries the whispers of the spirits? Do you know how the river flows through rock, carving its path not with force, but with patience and persistence?" The warrior looked up at the elder, his eyes filled with questions, his heart longing for understanding. The elder continued, his words like a gentle wind that swept away the storm in the young man's ear. "Life is like the journey of the river. It starts in the mountains, where the waters are pure and clear. But as it moves, it faces many obstacle stones that block its way, sharp rocks that cut and tear. And yet, the river does not stop. It does not turn back. It continues forward, patiently, until it reaches the sea, where it is free." The young warrior nodded, his heart heavy with the weight of his own struggles. "But what if the rocks are too strong?" he asked, his voice filled with doubt. "What if the path ahead is too hard? I have faced many obstacles, and I am weary." The elder placed his hand on the warrior's shoulder, his touch firm but comforting like the earth beneath their feet. "The path is never easy," the elder replied. "The spirits have not promised an easy journey, but they have promised that if you continue, if you persevere, blessings will follow. The river does not question the rocks in its path. It moves forward knowing that each obstacle is just a part of its journey." The warrior looked at the fire, the flames now flickering more brightly, as if in response to the elder's words. He felt a stir within him, a spark of something he had not felt in a long time, a glimmer of hope, a whisper of strength. "Perseverance is not the absence of struggle," the elder continued, his voice like the rumble of thunder in the distance. "It is the willingness to move forward despite the struggle. The Creator does not ask us to be without fear, but to walk through that fear. He does not promise that the road will be smooth, but he promises that with every step, he will be there." The warrior felt a deep stirring in his chest, as if the elder's words were a call to his spirit, a reminder of the strength he had forgotten. "But how do I know when I will reach the sea?" the warrior asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. The elder smiled, his eyes glinting with the wisdom of the ages. "You do not need to know the end," he said softly. "You only need to know the next step. The river does not worry about how far it must go. It trusts the journey. It knows that the Creator will guide it, and so must you." The young warrior closed his eyes, feeling the weight of the elder's words settle into his heart. For the first time in many moons, he felt the strength to rise. He stood up slowly, the firelight casting shadows on his face, and looked to the horizon, where the stars began to twinkle like the eyes of the ancestors watching over him. "I will not give up," he said, his voice steady and full of newfound resolve. "I will continue, step by step, until I reach the sea." The elder nodded, his eyes filled with pride. "You have chosen the path of perseverance. Know this, my child. The blessings that await you are not found at the end of the journey, but in each step you take along the way. The Creator has placed his strength within you, and you are never alone." The warrior turned toward the mountains, the path still hidden in the darkness, but now he felt ready to face it. With each step he took, the weight of his doubts grew lighter. The obstacles before him were no longer something to fear, but something to overcome. He knew now that perseverance was not just about reaching the end, it was about trusting the Creator with each step, knowing that the journey itself was sacred. And so, the young warrior walked forward, his heart steady, his spirit unbroken. He knew the path ahead would not be easy, but with each step, he would grow stronger. And with each trial, the blessings would come just as they came to the river. Slowly, steadily, he would reach his destination, and in the journey, he would find his true strength. In the heart of the great valley, where the sun dipped low, casting a golden glow over the land, there lived a young man named Ahuli. His life had been a long struggle, marked by the heavy burden of providing for his family, toiling under the scorching sun and through the cold winds of winter. His hands were calloused from work, and his heart was weary from the constant striving to survive in a world that often seemed indifferent to his efforts. Every day he labored, he wondered if his efforts would ever be enough, if his family would ever know the comfort of abundance. One evening, as the moon began to rise and the stars whispered their ancient songs, Ahuli sat by the fire, his thoughts heavy. He looked out over the valley, the land that had sustained his ancestors for generations. Yet, despite the bounty of the earth, he felt that he lacked something vital. He had worked tirelessly, yet his harvest had been meager, and his home had been barely enough to shelter his loved ones from the cold. In the stillness of the night, as the fire flickered and the wind whispered through the trees, a voice came to Ahuli. It was not loud or forceful, but soft and gentle, like the breeze that touched his face. "My child, why do you carry such a heavy burden?" the voice asked. Ahuli looked around, but saw no one. His heart raced, for he knew this was no ordinary voice. It was the voice of the Creator, the one who had shaped the earth and the sky, the one who watched over all things. "I carry the weight of my family's needs," Ahuli replied, his voice heavy with weariness. "I work the land, I hunt, I fish, but it never seems enough. The seasons are harsh and the harvests are poor. How can I provide for those I love if the earth does not yield what I need?" The voice spoke again, as if it had been waiting for Ahuli's answer. "Ahuli, do you not know that I am your provider? The land you toil upon is not yours to command. The crops you plant are not yours to control. I, the Creator, have placed all things in their rightful place. It is not by your own strength that you survive, but by my hand. I have given you the earth, the water, the fire, the animals. All that you need is already here in abundance, and all I ask is that you trust in my provision." Ahuli's heart fluttered with confusion. "But how can I trust in what I cannot see? I have worked hard, but still I struggle. My family suffers from hunger, and the storms of life seem to take everything I hold dear." The Creator's voice softened, like a comforting breeze. "Ahuli, you do not need to see in order to trust. The eagle does not question the wind that carries it, nor does the river doubt the source from which it flows. You must trust in me, for I have already provided all that you need. Your strength comes not from your hands alone, but from the heart that seeks me." Ahuli felt a warmth spread through his chest, a gentle peace that soothed his troubled soul. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his worries begin to lighten. He understood, deep within his spirit, that there was something greater at work than his own efforts. "The earth, the sky, the stars, they are all my gifts to you," the Creator continued. "But do not place your faith in the things of the world, for they are fleeting. Your true inheritance lies not in the riches of the earth, but in the peace that comes from trusting in my guidance. I will provide, Ahuli. I will provide as I have always provided for those who trust in me." Ahuli sat in silence, feeling the truth of these words seep into his heart. He had spent so much of his life struggling, relying on his own strength, his own labor, but now he saw that he had been blind to the gifts already surrounding him. The land was abundant, the sky vast and full of promise, and the Creator's love was ever present, ready to fill him with the strength he needed. As the days passed, Ahuli began to see with new eyes. The next time he worked the fields, he did not struggle as he had before. He moved with patience, trusting that the earth would yield its bounty in its own time. When he went to the river to fish, he did so with gratitude, knowing that the Creator had placed the fish in the waters and that his provision would be abundant. One evening, as Ahuli sat with his family around the fire, he looked into their eyes and saw the peace that had come into his own heart reflected in theirs. His wife, who had long been burdened by worry, now smiled with a lightness in her heart. His children, who had once looked to him with uncertainty, now laughed and played with joy. Ahuli spoke to them, his voice filled with new understanding. "I have learned, my family, that we do not live by our own strength alone. The Creator has placed all that we need before us. We must trust in His provision, for He is the one who sustains us, not the fruits of our labor or the wealth we seek." His wife nodded, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have found peace, Ahuli, and with this peace we will walk together, trusting in the Creator's guidance." And so Ahuli's family lived with newfound faith. They no longer relied solely on their own strength, but on the abundant provision of the Creator. They worked with gratitude and patience, knowing that each day brought them closer to the fulfillment of the promises made to them. Their lives were not without struggle, but they faced each challenge with a spirit of trust, knowing that the Creator would provide. As the seasons changed and the years passed, Ahuli's family flourished. The land yielded its harvest, the rivers ran full with fish, and the storms that once seemed so fierce now passed with ease. Ahuli had learned the most important lesson of all, to trust in God's provision, to rely on His guidance, and to know that abundance and peace would follow those who placed their trust in Him. The Creator had not failed him, and He would never fail. For as long as Ahuli lived, he knew that all things were in the hands of the One who provides. In the midst of the vast plains, where the wind sang its endless song across the golden grasses, a young woman named Ayana sat beneath the shade of an ancient oak. The tree's roots dug deep into the earth, its branches reaching upward toward the sky, as if touching the heavens. Ayana had always found solace beneath its sheltering limbs, feeling the earth's energy rise through the roots and into her bones, giving her strength and clarity. But today, her heart was heavy. Life had not been kind, and her spirit had grown weary. She had worked long and hard, gathering the harvest, tending the fire, and caring for her family. Yet, no matter how much effort she put forth, she felt as though her efforts were always just shy of enough. The crops had been poor, the animals had been sick, and the rains had not come as they should. It seemed as though the Creator had turned His face away from her, leaving her to struggle alone. As the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the world in shades of red and orange, Ayana sighed deeply, feeling the weight of her worries pressing down on her. Her thoughts turned inward, and she asked herself, why do I work so hard? Why do I struggle so, only to find myself still wanting? It was then that she heard a soft voice, like the gentle rustling of the wind through the leaves. It was the voice of the Creator, speaking to her heart. My child, why do you carry this burden alone? Do you not know that you are never without my love and guidance? Ayana looked around, her eyes wide with surprise, but there was no one in sight. She had always known the Creator was near, but now His presence felt so real, so immediate. The wind seemed to pause for a moment, waiting for her response. I have worked so hard, Ayana said, her voice filled with sorrow. Yet the land does not yield its bounty, the animals grow sick, and my people grow hungry. I do not know what more I can do. The voice of the Creator was calm, like the steady rhythm of a drumbeat. Ayana, you are not alone in your struggles. Do not let your heart grow heavy with doubt. You have been blessed in ways you cannot yet see. I have given you life, a family, and a place in this world. You walk the path I have laid before you, and I walk with you. Trust in my provision and in my timing. Ayana felt a flicker of warmth in her chest, as if the Creator's words had sparked a fire within her. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply, allowing His words to settle in her heart. Gratitude, my child, is the key that unlocks the blessings of the world, the Creator continued. When you are grateful for all that you have, even in the hardest of times, you make space for peace and abundance to flow into your life. Do not dwell on what you do not have. Instead, thank me for what you have, for even the smallest of gifts holds the greatest of blessings. Ayana's heart stirred with emotion. She had been so focused on what was lacking, so consumed by the weight of her struggles, that she had forgotten to look at the abundance she already held. She had a home, a family, the love of those around her, and the land that had provided for her ancestors for generations. She had strength in her spirit and a heart full of love, even in the face of hardship. I have given you everything you need, the Creator continued, but you must open your heart to receive it. Gratefulness is the key to unlocking your blessings. And faith in my, the wind that will carry you through every storm. Trust in my love, and you will see that everything you need will come to you in my perfect time. Ayana felt a profound shift within her. The heaviness that had once filled her heart began to lift, replaced by a deep sense of peace. She felt the wind, soft and steady, caress her face, as though the Creator Himself was embracing her. She understood now that her faith and gratitude were not just acts of acknowledgement, they were the very foundation upon which her life could flourish. Thank you, Creator, Ayana whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Thank you for all that you have given me. I trust in your plan, and I will walk this path with a grateful heart. As the days passed, Ayana began to see the world around her in a new light. She woke each morning with gratitude in her heart, thanking the Creator for the gift of the day. She gave thanks for the sun that warmed the earth, the rain that nourished the land, and the strength that allowed her to continue despite the difficulties. She found joy in the simplest of things, the laughter of her children, the warmth of her family gathered around the fire, and the beauty of the earth that surrounded her. And as she did, she noticed a change. The crops that had once struggled to grow now began to flourish. The animals that had been sick grew strong again. And the land, which had seemed barren, began to yield its bounty in abundance. The Creator's blessings were flowing into her life, just as He had promised. One evening, as Ayana sat beneath the oak tree once more, she realized that the blessings she had received were not just material, they were spiritual. Her heart was filled with peace, her mind with clarity, and her spirit with strength. She understood now that it was not the things of the world that would bring her fulfillment, but her faith in the Creator and her gratitude for His love. The Creator's voice returned to her, gentle and reassuring. "My child, you have learned the ways of gratitude and faith. You have trusted in me, and I have blessed you. Know that my love for you is eternal, and I will always provide for you. Continue to walk this path with a grateful heart, and you will never lack." Ayana smiled, her heart light and full of love. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would face them with faith and gratitude. For in trusting the Creator, she had found peace, and in that peace, she had found abundance. The sun set behind the mountains, casting its golden light across the land, and Ayana knew that, with each new day, the blessings of the Creator would continue to flow into her life just as they always had. She was never alone, for the Creator's love was with her, guiding her, filling her heart with gratitude and faith. And in that, she found all the strength she would ever need. In the heart of the endless forest, where the trees rose like ancient guardians of the earth, and the winds carried the whispers of the ancestors, there lived a young warrior named Wiyaka. His spirit was strong, but his heart was heavy. The weight of his tribe's struggles bore down upon him. The winters had been harsh, the game had been scarce, and the rivers that once teemed with fish had run dry. His people, once vibrant and full of life, now faced hunger and despair. Wiyaka, though young, had taken it upon himself to be the protector of his tribe, to be the one who would bring the harvest back and ensure his people would survive. But even the strongest warrior could not bear such a weight alone. As he sat beside the fire one cold evening, his thoughts were consumed with doubt. His people looked to him for guidance, but he did not know where to lead them. The shadows of uncertainty crept into his mind, and he began to question his strength. "I have done all that I can," he thought, "but the path ahead is unclear. I do not know how to save them. I am but a single warrior, and the world is so vast and full of challenges." Just as the fire crackled and the stars began to twinkle above, a figure appeared beside him, as if borne by the winds themselves. The figure was not a warrior, but an elder, a wise one, his face weathered by the years, his eyes filled with the knowledge of the earth. He sat down beside Wiyaka, the flickering light of the fire casting long shadows around them. "Why do you sit alone in the dark?" the elder asked, his voice soft but strong like the earth itself. "Your heart is heavy, young one. I can see the weight upon your spirit, but I have seen the strength within you, Wiyaka, and I have seen the power that flows through your people." Wiyaka looked at the elder, his heart filled with both confusion and relief. "The path is unclear," Wiyaka admitted. "I have tried to lead my people, but no matter how hard I work, the land does not provide as it once did. I feel as though I am failing them. The darkness around us grows, and I do not know how to protect them." The elder smiled gently, his eyes filled with knowing. "You are not alone, Wiyaka. You are never alone. The Creator walks beside you, guiding you through every trial, every struggle. You may not see him, but his presence is with you, surrounding you like the wind that carries the leaves." The young warrior listened intently, feeling a strange peace begin to settle in his heart. The elder continued, his voice calm and reassuring. "The Creator's love and protection are always with those who believe in him. He knows your struggles, Wiyaka. He knows the weight you carry, and he promises that if you trust in him, you will emerge stronger than you ever imagined. Wiyaka's mind swirled with questions, but the elder's presence brought a comfort that steadied his heart. But how can I trust in something I cannot see? How do I know that the Creator will help us? The elder's eyes gleamed with wisdom. You do not need to see to believe. The eagle soars high in the sky, trusting the wind to carry it. The river flows, trusting the earth to guide it. Faith is not seeing, but believing that even in the darkest times, there is a force greater than yourself at work. The Creator's love is like the sun does not waver, it does not falter. It shines even when clouds obscure it. Wiyaka felt a shift within him, a stirring deep in his soul. He had always known the Creator's power, but now, in the elder's words, he felt it more deeply. What must I do then? He asked, his voice quieter, filled with hope. How can I lead my people when the world is so uncertain? Trust, the elder replied simply. Trust that the Creator's protection will guide you. Trust that His love will carry you through the storm. The trials you face are not punishment. They are the winds that shape you, the rocks that form your path. Do not turn away from them. Do not let doubt cloud your heart. Stand firm, for the Creator is with you, and His blessings are already on their way. The words sank deep into Wiyaka's heart, and for the first time in many seasons, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that his path would not be easy. He also knew that he was not walking it alone. The Creator's love and protection were with him, just as they were with his people. The elder stood up, his figure illuminated by the light of the fire. Now, Wiyaka, you must carry this knowledge with you. Lead your people with courage, with faith. Show them that though the road is difficult, the Creator's hand is in every step. With His guidance, you will overcome. Wiyaka stood as well, the weight of his doubts lifting from his shoulders. He could feel the strength in his bones, the power of the Creator's love surrounding him like a warm cloak. He no longer felt as though he was facing the trials alone. The Creator was with him, guiding him, and he would be victorious. Thank you, Wiyaka said, his voice filled with gratitude. I will carry this knowledge with me. I will trust in the Creator, and I will lead my people with faith. The elder smiled once more, his eyes filled with pride. Go now, Wiyaka. Go and show your people the power of the Creator's love. Lead them through the darkness, for you will emerge victorious, stronger than you ever imagined. And remember, you are never alone. As the elder vanished into the night, Wiyaka turned toward the path that lay before him. The road was long, the challenges still great, but he no longer felt afraid. He knew that with the Creator's love and protection, he could face anything. And so, with faith in his heart and the strength of the Creator beside him, Wiyaka walked forward, ready to guide his people into the light of a new day. And as the sun rose, casting its golden light upon the land, Wiyaka knew that his victory was already written in the stars. The Creator's love and power would see them through. In the heart of the vast plains, where the wind whispered secrets to the grasses and the mountains stood as silent witnesses to the passage of time, there lived a woman named Tashina. Her spirit was like the river that ran through her village, strong, steady, but at times burdened by the weight of her struggles. She had always been a woman of deep faith, yet the challenges of life had tested her resolve. The seasons had been cruel, the crops scarce, and the animals few. Her people, once prosperous and full of life, now faced hunger and hardship. Tashina had always believed in the Creator's promises. She had grown up hearing the elders speak of the blessings that would come to those who remained steadfast, who trusted in the Creator's love and power. She had seen miracles unfold in the lives of others, and she believed that the same miracles would come to her. But as the years passed, the weight of her trials grew heavier, and her heart began to doubt. How much longer can I wait? She asked herself, her voice barely above a whisper, carried away by the wind. I have trusted, I have prayed, but still, nothing has changed. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson, Tashina sat alone by the fire. Her heart was heavy, her spirit tired. She had been working the land all day, but the crops still withered under the harsh sun. Her people were hungry, and her strength was fading. She closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on her. I cannot do this alone, she thought. I have given everything I have, and yet the Creator has not answered my prayers. Just as the fire crackled and the stars began to appear one by one in the sky, a soft voice, like the rustling of leaves, spoke to her heart. It was the Creator's voice, gentle yet powerful, filled with warmth and love. "My child, why do you doubt?" the voice asked. "Do you not know that I am with you always? Do you not know that the time for your blessings is drawing near?" Tashina's heart stirred, and she opened her eyes, as if seeing the world for the first time. The firelight danced in her eyes, and she felt a surge of strength flow through her, as though the very earth beneath her feet was reaching up to support her. She knew in that moment that the Creator's presence was real, that His promises were true, and that her faith had not gone unnoticed. "I have waited so long," Tashina said, her voice trembling with both sorrow and hope. "The land is dry, the animals are few, and my people are hungry. How much longer must we wait for the miracles you promised?" The Creator's voice was calm, like the sound of the river flowing gently over stones. "You have been patient, my child, and your faith has been steadfast. But know this: when you trust in me, miracles will unfold in your life. The time for your blessings is drawing near. Do not doubt, for I have seen your endurance, your struggles, and your unwavering trust. You will reap the rewards of your faith." Tashina felt a warmth in her chest, a peace that began to wash away the fear and doubt that had taken root in her heart. She had been waiting for the miracles to come, but now she understood that faith was not just about waiting, it was about trusting, even when the path was uncertain, even when the outcome was hidden from view. She had been looking for signs of the Creator's power in the world around her, but she realized now that the greatest miracle was the faith itself, the trust in the unseen, the belief that the Creator's promises would come to pass, no matter how long it took. "The time is now, Tashina," the Creator continued. "I will provide for you, for your people, and for the land. You have shown great strength, and your faith has been a beacon to those around you. Now, watch as my promises unfold before your eyes." Tashina's heart swelled with a joy she had not known in many seasons. She stood up, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. The fire before her flickered brightly, casting its light into the darkness, just as her faith would cast light into the darkness of her struggles. She knew now that the Creator's miracles were not just about physical blessings, they were about the transformation of the heart, the deepening of trust, and the unfolding of a future filled with possibilities. The next day, as Tashina walked the land, she noticed something she had not seen before. The earth, though dry, seemed to hum with life. The sky, though clouded, held a promise of rain. She walked with purpose, her steps lighter, her heart open to the blessings the Creator had promised. She saw her people, and though their faces were still worn with worry, she saw something new in their eyes, a flicker of hope, a glimmer of faith. And then the miracles began to unfold. The rain, gentle at first, began to fall. It was not a flood, but a steady, nourishing rain, falling just when the land needed it most. The crops once withered began to green. The animals once scattered and sickly returned, strong and healthy. The people, once filled with fear and uncertainty, began to gather together in joy and gratitude. Tashina watched all of this, her heart full of awe and wonder. She had seen the Creator's promises come to life before her eyes, not in the form of great riches or material wealth, but in the form of peace, hope, and abundance. The miracles had not come in the way she had expected, but they had come, just as the Creator had promised. As the days passed, Tashina continued to walk with faith, knowing that the Creator's hand was at work in every moment. She no longer worried about the future, for she knew that the Creator would provide. She trusted that every step she took, every challenge she faced, was part of the journey, part of the miracles that were unfolding in her life. One evening, as the sun set over the plains and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Tashina sat by the fire once more. This time, her heart was light, her spirit at peace. She thought back to the words the Creator had spoken to her, and she realized that the greatest miracle of all was not the abundance that had come to her people, but the deepening of her faith, the transformation of her heart. And as she sat there, the winds carrying the whispers of the ancestors, she knew that the Creator's love and protection would always be with her. The time for her blessings had come, and with it, a new beginning. She had trusted, and now the miracles were unfolding, not just in her life, but in the lives of all those around her. The Creator's promises were true. The miracles had come, and they would continue to flow as long as she held fast to her faith, her trust, and her belief in the power of the Creator's love. And then the miracles began to unfold. The rain, gentle at first, began to fall. It was not a flood, but a steady, nourishing rain, falling just when the land needed it most. The crops, once withered, began to green. The animals, once scattered and sickly, returned, strong and healthy. The people, once filled with fear and uncertainty, began to gather together in joy and gratitude. Tashina watched all of this, her heart full of awe and wonder. She had seen the Creator's promises come to life before her eyes, not in the form of great riches or material wealth, but in the form of peace, hope, and abundance. The miracles had not come in the way she had expected, but they had come, just as the Creator had promised. As the days passed, Tashina continued to walk with faith, knowing that the Creator's hand was at work in every moment. She no longer worried about the future, for she knew that the Creator would provide. She trusted that every step she took, every challenge she faced, was part of the journey, part of the miracles that were unfolding in her life. One evening, as the sun set over the plains and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Tashina sat by the fire once more. This time, her heart was light, her spirit at peace. She thought back to the words the Creator had spoken to her, and she realized that the greatest miracle of all was not the abundance that had come to her people, but the deepening of her faith, the transformation of her heart. And as she sat there, the winds carrying the whispers of the ancestors, she knew that the Creator's love and protection would always be with her. The time for her blessings had come, and with it, a new beginning. She had trusted, and now the miracles were unfolding, not just in her life, but in the lives of all those around her. The Creator's promises were true. The miracles had come, and they would continue to flow, as long as she held fast to her faith, her trust, and her belief in the power of the Creator's love. In the heart of the great wilderness, beneath the vast skies that stretched beyond the horizon, a lone soul wandered, weary from the trials of the world. The winds whispered through the trees, carrying with them the scent of the earth and the promise of something greater. The people of the land knew that the Creator walked among them, His presence felt in every rustling leaf, every mountain that stood tall against the sky, and every river that carved its path through the land. One such soul, burdened with sorrow and confusion, sat beside a gentle stream, its waters clear and full of life. The struggle of the heart weighed heavily upon them. The battle